Ted, I'm working on my next D&D character, and the Dungeon Master let us roll stats.
How'd it go?
It went really good. I have an 18 intelligence, but now I have a bit of a conundrum.
What's that?
I'm not really going to need stat bumps because, I'm going to start off with like a 20 intelligence. What do I do with feats?
Well, let's discuss 5e D&D Feats, the Wizard's Guide.
Welcome to Nerdarchy. I'm Nerdarchy Steve, and as usual, I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
Hey, if you like content like this, use that fireball cantrip on the subscribe button.
And so you don't miss a single video, magic missile that notification bell.
Alright, today we're going to be talking about wizards and feats, and what are the optimal feats for playing a wizard, or to play different types of wizard and flavoring them with your feats. But before we do that, let's talk about flavoring your game, your campaigns, your world with our sponsor, Dungeon Fog. It is an awesome mapping tool. I love it. It reminds me of drawing maps on graph paper when I was a kid, except for it's all digital. You can even send it to your players with a fog of war effect on there. They have commercial license. They have a free subscription you can check out, and paid subscriptions as well. There's a lot of great features.
There's a number of maps that are already created that you can be able to grab and go or modify right then and there. You can print those high-res images so you can be able to drop them right down on your battle map for your players.
You can find the link in the description down below.
So there are a lot of race-specific feats that might wind up flavoring your wizard really well, but there are so many of them. We're just kind of lump that out there. If you're playing a race that has feats attached to it, I would highly look at those and see if anything is going to be there. Beyond that, we're going to break these feats down into 3 different categories. You've got your combat wizard, you've got your scholar wizard, and you've got your uber cast.
All right, for our combat wizard, we're looking at Polar Master and Resilient.
Specifically for Constitution.
We're
also looking at Sentinel, and Dave will explain why, and Warcaster.
Okay, so all of these can work really well. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get as many opportunities for an attack of opportunity as possible, because that kicks in the Warcaster feature where it basically, as a reaction, you can substitute your attack of opportunity with a spell.
So that it's complicated, a little bit of ingenuity. But if you're going to get all of those things, or Sentinel and Warcaster, they will work together well. But your mage has to kind of be in the thick of it.
Yeah. So one of the things that the Sentinel is going to do for you, as far as being able to get that casting off, is if the enemy uses a disengage or a disengage ability to get away from you, you can still take your attack of opportunity, which means you can use the spell as well. So that is the only part that really crosses over from Sentinel. But that being said, the other Sentinel abilities are still pretty good and strong and will work. And also, we have Polar Master that is going to work with our quarterstaff. So that's going to make us effective. When they come in to attack us, we can get an attack of opportunity, which we can then use for a spell. Depending on what spell you use, you may completely and utterly deny them the ability to attack you. If you hit them with a hold monster or hold person spell, well, there goes their attack. It's been completely foiled.
Yeah, that's nice to be able to essentially rob an enemy of their turn. It can be pretty clutch at the right moment. And how better to shut down them hitting you than to stop them in their tracks, literally.
Now, Warcaster also is going to give you advantage on those concentration checks, but the problem with the wizard is they're not that good at them because Constitution isn't a good save.
So and Resilient will make that happen.
And that's where Resilient comes in. And it can either even out an odd stat or give you an odd stat. So when you do increase, you can put the points there and get more hit points. And as a wizard, you can never have too many hit points.
So next we're going to look at our Scholar Wizard, and we're looking at Skilled and Linguist.
Also, Keen Mind and Observant.
So these are really your mentalist, your thinking wizard, if you will.
The brainy wizard.
It's going to give you languages. It's going to give you proficiencies. It's going to give you things that you might not be thinking about, normally. But when you
photographic memory, which is cool. Always knowing what time it is, where north is.
The +5 on passive perception checks, which is really really useful for anyone that is cerebral.
And 2 of those are half feats, so you're still going to get a bonus to one of your mental stats as well, so you're not completely losing out there. And even in our open a bit where we talked about if you happen to be a wizard that already has their intelligence maxed out, well, it certainly wouldn't hurt to increase your wisdom or charisma as well to kind of really really sell the point that you are intellectually superior to everyone else.
And if you know that while you're planning your character that you're looking at these feats, you can plan those odd stats for those feats that are going to specifically bump them up.
Absolutely. So next up is our Ubercaster, the Caster's Caster. This wizard is all about spellcasting, and these are the feats that are going to make that happen. So first up, we're looking at Elemental Adept and Magic Initiate.
We also have Ritualist, choosing not Wizard, and Spell Sniper.
Okay, so what are these going to do for you? Well, if you want to make an elemental type wizard, Elemental Adept just makes sense. And you can take that one over and over again if you decide that that's your focus. It's actually one of the few feats where you can do that. And what that's going to do is if you roll a 1 on your damages, then they become 2s, and it also lets you ignore resistance. So it becomes super helpful, especially if you're casting a lot of fire spells, because there are so many things that have resistance to fire.
When you're looking at the Ritualist feat, there are 13 cleric spells throughout the different books that are released at this point in time, and 12 druid spells that are, ritual spells, that not all of them are accessible by the wizard. So being able to pull out your spell book and add these extra spells into it is going to be really useful for you.
And not only that, you get 2 spells automatically, so increasing your spell casting right there. The other thing that increases your spell casting is Magic Initiate, 2 more cantrips, and 1 more first level spell. I actually like this for doubling down on wizard with it and not going someplace else, because you're going to get 2 more cantrips. That could be useful, more variety. You're going to get another spell slot. Awesome. You're never going to not, you be able to use that. And then the thing that is super useful is putting another spell in your spell book, especially at low levels. This gives you a lot more casting powers, like levels 1 through 3. But it's not like you're ever going to outgrow that extra slot. You can always use it for something like Shield, which never is more than a first level spell slot and is always super useful.
No matter the level of the game, Shield is always a potent spell. And no wizard that I know of is ever going to be like, nah, I don't need Shield anymore. I'm going to get rid of that one. For me, that's an ideal choice. You could go human, take that right away. Now you're doubling down on all of these extra spells that you have because you're getting those 2 extra cantrips from your primary list, and you're going to get access to Shield right away and that free casting every day.
Now, Spell Sniper. Gives you an extra cantrip. That's an attack cantrip. Not bad. But anytime you cast a spell that requires an attack roll, you get to ignore 1/2 and 3/4 cover. Not bad. But it also doubles your range. This can be super potent. Firebolt has a range of 120. Now it's 240. It's getting out there. And you have other spells that have even further ranges that you're going to be doubling. So it comes in handy.
Very, very, very useful. So if you feel that we've missed any wizard feats, down in the comments below, let us know. Call us out.
Also, you can find a card over here above my head if you want more videos like this, 5e D&D Feats, a Rogue's Guide.
If you want more content to use in your D&D game, why not support us over on Patreon? We're creating 5th edition products every month for players and DMs alike.
We also do weekly hangouts for our patrons live, as well as monthly giveaways that our patrons are automatically entered in, and more.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.